Porter's, well, it looks like we may have a pretty good idea of when Caitlin Clark is next going to play basketball, and it's not during the WNBA season. At least that's not the next thing that she's got her eye on. It's not Unrivaled, and it's not Athletes Unlimited, but it is sooner than the WNBA season.
So, get this. The rumors are true. Caitlin Clark is coming back to play basketball way sooner than anyone expected. And no, it's not for some chill off-season tour or a charity event. This is for Team USA for real. Experts are now saying her return in March is definitely happening. If that's true, the whole basketball world is about to go absolutely wild. Everyone's asking if this is a smart move or a huge risk, right? Let's break it down, because fans are seriously trying to figure out what's going on. After months of silence, rehab, and tons of speculation, we finally have a timeline for Clark's return, March 11th through 17th. That's the week Team USA heads to San Juan, Puerto Rico for the World Cup qualifying tournament. And guess who's on the radar? Yep, Caitlin Clark. This isn't just a practice run. These are real games with official jerseys, live broadcasts, and international eyes watching every move. If she's healthy enough to play, it means she's not only back on the court, she's back under the brightest lights possible. Think about it. We haven't seen her in meaningful action since mid-July, so this is a massive deal. Remember how her season started with that triple-double? The league was acting like they had a superhero, but then, boom, injuries hit. First the ankle, then the groin, then this whole mystery setback the Indiana Fever just wouldn't fully explain. She barely played 5 games in a row all year. The media called it load management, but fans were saying it was a cover-up. Honestly, the Fever did a terrible job communicating any of it. Every press conference sounded like they were reading from a hospital brochure, day-to-day, precautionary steps, minor tightness. Yeah, minor tightness that lasted 4 months. Serious.
Oh, she didn't look like her usual self. Though her counting stats, 16.5 points, 5 rebounds, 8.8 assists, were still impressive. She shot 36.7% from the field, including 27.9% from three-point range, and had 3 games without a 3, something that previously hadn't happened since her sophomore season at Iowa. Quote, I would never speak for Caitlin, but it's frustrating as an athlete to go through injury when you're not able to do what you love to do. White said certainly having setbacks, then working your way back, then having another setback, all of that is frustrating. While it's frustrating, it's important that we get her back to 100% and she's comfortable, she's confident that she's healthy, and that she can move forward in a way that continues to build on her career and her franchise.
But here's the thing, when head coach Stephanie White recently talked about taking it week by week, going from 3-on-3 to 2-on-2, then building to 5-on-5, that was the first time anyone finally admitted Clark was even close to being game ready. They weren't using vague phrases like reevaluation period anymore. They were actually using real basketball terms again, and that, my friend, is a really good sign.
Playing in Unrivaled this offseason and has also passed on Athletes Unlimited. Okay, so she is not playing in that league. That's confirmation. Another domestic offseason league, nor will she be going overseas, even though offers would surely be lucrative.
Now let's get to the...
So let's talk about the experts. According to multiple sources close to Team USA, including former players and coaches who are actually in the loop, Clark is expected to be fully cleared by late February. That means she'll be ready for Team USA activities in March. Think about it. That's before the WNBA even tips off its first preseason practice.
Instead, she said during her exit interview, her main focus during the winter is, quote, really just getting my body healthy. Caitlin Clark does want to suit up for Team USA in the spring, however. Though the Americans have already qualified for the 2026 FIBA Women's World Cup, they will still participate in a qualifying tournament in San Juan, Puerto Rico from March 11.
And that changes everything. Why? Because Caitlin Clark in a Team USA jersey is a ratings machine, period. Forget what you think about the WNBA's regular numbers. This would shatter every record they've ever had. NBC, ESPN, Fox Sports, someone's gonna throw money at those broadcast rights faster than a Vegas bookmaker on Super Bowl Sunday. And can you blame them? This is the biggest name in women's basketball returning to action after an injury saga that felt like a straight-up soap opera. Everyone wants to see if she's still got it. Now, Stephanie White definitely tried to play it cool in her interview, saying they're building her foundation and taking it slow to avoid any regression, which, let's be real, basically means, please don't ask us for timelines, because we don't want to get roasted again if something goes wrong. But even through that super careful language, you can hear the truth slipping out. Clark is moving, running, cutting, and prepping for full speed 5-on-5. That's not a rehab plan, you guys. That is a full-blown comeback plan.
Is selected for the team. Those games will be the first time she sees real action since July 15th. In order to make sure she's ready by then, the Fever will not skip any steps over the next few weeks and months.
Now, what's funny is Caitlyn herself actually said back in her exit interview, "My main focus this offseason is getting my body healthy," and credit where it's due, she wasn't lying. No overseas leagues, no athletes unlimited, no off-season cash grabs, just recovery and those Team USA goals. And get this, Team USA has already qualified for the World Cup. These games are mostly for rhythm, chemistry, and keeping the roster fresh. But for Clark, it's all about showing everyone she's still the face of American basketball. I know some of you are probably rolling your eyes, saying she hasn't even played a full season yet, and yeah, that's true. But let's be real, Caitlin Clark's influence isn't about seasons played, it's about impact. She brought millions of new fans to the WNBA in just months. You can hate that fact if you want, but it doesn't change reality. Her return in March is basically the WNBA's free advertisement campaign. Team USA gets the ratings boost, and then when she walks back onto the court in May for the Fever, the league rides that momentum like a rocket. Plus, let's talk about this injury for a second, because this is where the sarcasm kicks in. Apparently, this was just a groin strain and a high ankle sprain, but somehow we're at month 4 of these super slow buildup. I don't know what kind of ankle this was. Maybe it was held together with duct tape, but this rehab timeline makes no sense. Even NFL players come back faster from torn ligaments. So, either the Fever medical staff are being incredibly overprotective, or they're hiding something bigger. And let's face it, this team hasn't exactly been a model of transparency. Still, the key detail here is that Clark has been training at 90 to 100% intensity again. That's not just conditioning, that's game simulation. And when Stephanie White starts talking about decision making and live action, that means they're testing her reaction speed and court balance. Stuff you only do when you're ready to go. So yeah, barring some new setback, March looks very real. And what's more, if Caitlin Clark really suits up for Team USA in March, guess what that means for the Olympics? She's basically a lock for Paris 2026. The media already knows it, the sponsors know it, and honestly the network executives are probably throwing parties as we speak. Her Olympic debut would be the biggest moment for women's basketball since the 1996 team with Lisa Leslie. This is a ratings goldmine just waiting to happen. Now, for all the people complaining about her getting too much media attention, I get it, but too bad. That's what happens when you move the needle. She's the headline every network wants because she draws crowds and sells merch in a league that's been struggling to do either for a decade. What's crazy is the reaction from fans has been hilarious since these reports started rolling in. Half of basketball Twitter is losing its mind with excitement, and the other half is trying to act like they don't care, which is always how you know they do care. One fan wrote, "March can't come soon enough. I'd watch her shoot free throws for 2 hours." Another said, "If the Fever can't protect her, at least Team USA can." Ouch. That one probably stung the Indiana front office more than her injury ever did. Then of course came the experts. Every talking head on TV suddenly became a rehab specialist overnight. You'd think Caitlyn was getting evaluated by ESPN's medical team. Everyone had a theory about how serious her groin really was, how fast she should be running, and whether playing for Team USA too soon might risk her next season. But here's the thing, nobody actually knows. The Fever barely told us the truth for months, so now everyone's just guessing. Honestly, if Clark feels good and her doctors clear her, let her play. This isn't a pickup game at the YMCA, this is Team USA basketball. If she's back for real. Look, for the WNBA, this isn't just about a player returning, it's about relevance. When Caitlin Clark went down, the WNBA's TV numbers quietly followed. All those record-breaking ratings from her first few games gone. Social media and engagement dropped. Jersey sales cooled off. Every post-game presser went from electric to half empty. You could almost hear the league offices praying for March. That's why this Team USA thing is such a lifeline. She'll be playing again 2 months before the season starts, which means she'll rebuild hype at the perfect time. Clips of her no-look passes and deep threes will flood social media, and guess what? Everyone will forget about that losing streak the Fever had. It's basically a free restart, but on top of that, this gives the league's marketing department a fresh excuse to spam every channel with her face again. America's star returns. Team USA's next leader. You know it's coming. But the real question fans are asking is simple. Will she actually look like herself again? Before the injuries, Clark was fearless. She'd pull up from the logo, throw half-court assists, and talk trash to players twice her size. After the injuries, she looked cautious. Still smart, still talented, but just careful. That killer's spark was missing, and that's why this comeback in March matters more than people realize. It's not just about testing her ankle, it's about testing her confidence. Because confidence, not health, is what separates the greats from everyone else. Stephanie White even said it herself. We want her comfortable, confident, and healthy. Notice the order. Comfort and confidence come before health. They know if she walks into March second-guessing her body, she won't play like herself. Now let's talk about the other players for a second. You can already feel the tension. There are veterans who've spent years trying to make Team USA rosters, and suddenly Caitlin Clark walks in after rehabbing half a season and steals all the attention. That's not going to sit well with everyone. Don't be shocked when the locker room anonymous quotes start leaking. You'll see headlines like unnamed player questions whether Clark deserves roster spot. It happens every time. But here's the truth. Team USA is built for one reason: medals and ratings. Clark helps with both. You think sponsors care about seniority? They care about eyeballs. And no one brings more eyeballs right now than Caitlin Clark. Plus, the way the Fever handled this injury still makes zero sense. We've had sprained ankles heal faster than her press conferences. They kept saying, we don't want to rush it. Okay, fine. But it's been months. She wasn't recovering from surgery. She was recovering from tripping on hardwood. Fans had every right to question what was going on. Some thought she'd secretly had another procedure. Others said it was all about internal drama. Remember that weird moment when reports came out about her chemistry issues with Kelsey Mitchell? The team denied it, but let's be honest, where there's smoke, there's usually a media intern frantically deleting email. Now fast forward to today, and suddenly the story is all sunshine. She's progressing beautifully. Her energy's incredible. She's almost ready. Convenient timing, huh? Right before Team USA camp. It's almost like they realized keeping her sidelined any longer would cost them ticket sales. And speaking of timing, March 11th to 17th is perfect. It gives her about 7 weeks before the WNBA season starts in May. So even if she only plays limited minutes with Team USA, she'll still have live reps under her belt, which is something she desperately needs after that slow, frustrating rookie year. Yeah, I said it. Rookie year. You can call it developmental, you can call it introductory, whatever helps you sleep, but everyone knows it wasn't what fans expected. She flashed brilliance, but the Fever looked lost half the time. Now she gets a chance to reset on the biggest stage possible. And you better believe that if she drops 20 points in her first Team USA game, every sports network will treat it like the second coming, and the WNBA will act like it was all part of the plan. And get this, it's in Puerto Rico. That means fans from everywhere will get to see her play internationally for the first time. Expect a full-on media circus, cameras at the airport, drone shots of her walking into the arena, interviews about representing America, you name it. Now let's be honest, some fans are gonna say she's coming back too soon. They'll call it risky. But those are usually the same people who complain she's too protected. You can't have it both ways. Either she's an athlete who competes, or she's a brand that sits out. She's choosing to compete. Respect that. And if she pulls it off, if she comes back strong, healthy, and firing on all cylinders, she'll shut down every critic who said she was overhyped. Because let's face it, for all the drama, injuries, and noise, Caitlin Clark moves the needle. You can't scroll 2 minutes without seeing her name. The league knows it, the fans know it, and now Team USA knows it. So whether you love her or can't stand her, March is about to remind everyone why she's the headline every time she touches a basketball. So yeah, March 11th through 17th, circle it. Caitlin Clark could finally be back in action for Team USA, and the sports world is already buzzing. Whether she dominates or just tests the waters, one thing's certain, all eyes will be on her.